Welcome back to the Garden Hutch. Today we discuss week 12 of 2023. Let's get going. Week 12 was the first week of spring, and boy, did it feel like it. It was fantastic. We had warmer days, we had warmer nights, especially compared to week 11, which was the last week of winter where it got down to like 24 degrees. Now, Friday of week 12, we did have a significant storm come through. In about 6 hours, we got right at 3 inches of rain. It ran off. There was a bunch of issues here locally, flash flooding, that sort of thing. I know some of you folks out there had tornadoes and such, so our thoughts are with you. Hope everybody's well. But one of the things that happens whenever we have these longer days and it gets warmer is we're able to get a few more things taken care of. And the more I think about it, the more I realize getting ready for summer starts like right now. So with all that being said, let's go ahead and take a look at the things we got completed during week 12. Perhaps the most significant thing that got accomplished during week 12 was getting this bird netting put up around the old garden. Now, anybody who watches the channel knows I'm not a big fan of putting in any permanent structures until I've had a chance to look it over for a year or two. So what we wanted to do is we like having the chickens in this area for most of the fall and through the winter to kind of go through the beds and help scratch them up, that sort of thing. They also enjoy the bugs and such that come through here. The problem is that whenever we plant, they like to get in here and scratch. Now, they've never really eaten our plants as much as they get in and scratch and destroy everything. So we decided to go ahead and do that, with the primary reason being that our potatoes started coming up. As you can see here, last week there were no potatoes, and the potatoes are coming in. I'll just go ahead and we did a little over half. So I think the end of the potatoes are right there. So, you know, we've got quite a bit of potatoes in the ground. We got 2 rows. What we'll do is we'll go through and just kind of mound them from the sides or whatever, and then cover them with straw. But I'll show that as time goes along. The primary reason, though, that I bring that up is the potatoes were the catalyst for us going ahead and getting that netting put up. I did want to say another reason that we wanted to get the netting put up this week is because Wednesday of this week will be our review video for our new raised bed. And you can tell the raised bed is going to go from here all the way to there. So it's about 8 by 2. It'll leave us enough room to kind of walk on the back side of this top garden here. It's also going to help us alleviate some of the crowding that we have in the greenhouse. The reason I bring that up is just in case you haven't subscribed to the channel and you would kind of enjoy what we're doing here, kind of hit that subscribe button for us, and YouTube will kind of let you know whenever we upload the video on Wednesday. And again, we're going to kind of go through, show you how we build it, all that kind of stuff. Before we step into the top garden, I just want to say I'm kind of proud of where we're at. I was looking back on our vlogs from last year, and we are almost 30 days exactly ahead of where we were last year. So with all of that being said, let's go take a look and I'll show you what I mean. So last year we started eating salad daily in the middle of April. This year we started in the middle of March, almost exactly 30 days earlier. So what I wanted to show you here is sort of the way that we're going through what we're eating, and the way that we pick our salad greens. So what I do is every Sunday I go through and I pick a large batch of salad. I go through the rigorous process of cleaning it really well, all of that kind of stuff. And I pick enough that we'll be able to have a salad for lunch and dinner 5 days. So at this time of the year, I can't believe what we're able to pull out. We're able to have a salad with green onions, and then we have the baby mustard greens, baby turnip greens down there, and then we have the 2 different lettuce types. We have the black seeded Simpson, which is the lighter green, and then the darker green that you see are the butter crunch. And now the exciting part for us was this week we were starting to add in our radishes, which means we pull them and we put the greens in the salad as they come. But if we look down here at our radishes, ta-da, you can see we are starting to get nice sized radishes. We're able to pull 3 to 4 every day to go with our salads. And right now you can't even really tell that we're making a dent because the days are getting warmer. So as we remove a radish, its neighbors start getting a little bit bigger in the greens and the radish itself. The reason that's important for us is we talk about cadence a whole lot. So these radishes in this bed and that bed down there, those were the first ones. And we have altogether, I believe we end up having 8 rows. And then these were planted right here 3 weeks later. So these will be ready, I would imagine, right at the beginning of April. And then you can see those little babies down there. Those will be ready to come out the last week of April, hopefully right before we're ready to put in all of our summer plants. So again, that kind of goes back to that cadence thing that I was talking about. And you'll forgive me for showing this a little bit, but I am relatively proud of the progress that we've made this year. Also, now that the weather has started to pick up, our beets have started to take off a little bit. So hopefully in the next week or two, we'll start being able to thin out the beets and use those baby greens in our salads as well. So real quick before we step in the greenhouse, I had mentioned that we got a significant amount of rain. Well, when we did, it filled up all the buckets around the greenhouse. So now whenever I have to water in the greenhouse, I'm using the water from those buckets. Supposedly the water is supposed to be a lot better for you because it's, you know, rainwater, etc., etc. I'm not sure about all that. I've never done like a controlled experiment around it, but it sounds, you know, close enough to me. But the cool thing is that I just don't have to walk back and forth turning the water on and off. So that's good enough for me. Before we go too far, I want to point out our little bucket over here that has our sweet peas in it. Now, I am not an aficionado when it comes to growing these things. I'm not really a huge fan of them. My wife likes them, so I've kind of picked them up. I did not realize that they had to have so much room. So when I put them in here, I overplanted, and you can see how they started turning a pale color down here. Well, I thinned them out, and I started watering a little bit extra, and now they've come back to life. So in the future, now I know, you know, you got to give them about, I don't know, 10 inches or so between them and their neighbors. They also take quite a bit of water. So, you know, with the temperatures coming up or whatever, I've had to water significantly more. But again, those rain buckets make that task significantly easier. So as we come in the greenhouse, all of our pollinators here are doing really well. It won't be long until a lot of them go in the ground. Now, now that we've got the netting up, I will be able to put in our dill plants. And once our parsley gets big enough, I'll be able to plant it as well, because I don't have to worry about the chickens digging it up, that sort of thing. Now down here, you'll see all of our greens. We've got the turnip greens, the mustard greens, and then these flats of onions. All of those will be out of the greenhouse this week. They'll go into our new raised bed. We're going to sort of treat that new raised bed like we do the top garden, where we're going to try to get a spring and a fall garden out of it. And then in the middle of the summer, we're going to probably put in a couple tomato and pepper plants to see how well it acclimates in that area. And if it works, we'll probably do that more often. Turn it into like a dedicated salsa garden or something along those lines. As always, we appreciate everyone who made it here till the end of the video. Till next time, I hope everyone takes care of themselves. Peace.